Have you ever heard of the most promiscuous empress in history? Her name is Messalina, and she was the third wife of the Roman Emperor Claudius. Her memory remains intact throughout history for her controversial and unconventional behaviors in ancient Rome. A powerful, influential, and promiscuous woman. This is how we remember her today. We will get to know her story from start to finish and delve into her darkest secrets. If this is your first time on the channel, subscribe now so you don't miss any important content about the darkest chapters of our history. Number 1. Valeria Messalina was born into an important family in Rome on January 25, 17 or 20 AD. There are still debates about her true birth year. She was the daughter of Marcus Valerius Messala and Domitia Lepida, a Roman aristocrat from the imperial family, and her parents were cousins. She married as a teenager in 38 AD, being 20 years younger than her husband, Claudius. Although Messalina was a woman of great character and presence, she died in a ruthless manner after being discovered plotting to assassinate her husband, the emperor. This raises the question: was Messalina truly a traitor, or was she imprisoned and oppressed by the masculine vision of her time? Keep reading, because next we'll see interesting facts about her life that could shed light on what really happened. Number 2. Despite being so young at the time of her union with Claudius, they had 2 children: Claudia Octavia, who would later become the Roman empress, and Britannicus, her other son. Claudius ascended to the imperial throne unexpectedly as the successor to Caligula, who was assassinated in 41 AD. The Praetorian Guard proclaimed Claudius as the new emperor. Number 3. It is said that when it came to spectacles, Messalina didn't hold back. She had the audacity to undress in the middle of the Roman Forum, which was the center of social life in the empire. That stage allowed for many diverse spectacles, but probably few were like the one from the young Messalina. Some historical records tell that she appeared before the crowd, removed all her clothes, and began to dance naked throughout the forum. Number 4. The failure of her relationship with Claudius began at the start of their marriage. Problems arose as rumors started circulating in the Roman court, suggesting that Messalina led a very active sexual life. She didn't need affection or attention at night, as she would sleep with many men. The most curious thing was that she was incapable of being with her husband. It is said that Messalina would escape from the imperial chambers, leaving Claudius asleep, and walk through the empty streets of the city at dawn with an interesting destination. Number 5. As expected, Messalina frequented a brothel disguised from head to toe. She wore a blonde wig and other outfits to enter the establishment at night. Not only did her golden hair capture all the attention, but she also walked around naked, covering her nipples with gold. Her visit to the brothel was for the simplest of reasons: she worked there. Number 6. Her nickname was the She-Wolf, something absurd but quite fitting to describe her nocturnal activities. This nickname was not only due to her behavior and sexual implications but also had an interesting backstory. The myth of the founding of Rome comes from a she-wolf who allegedly nursed and protected the twins Romulus and Remus, one of whom would become the first king of Rome. Number 7. Messalina's nocturnal escapades were just the beginning of her scandals. Other incidents soon came to light, though her behavior as a sex worker was already inappropriate. It is said that she made a bet with another worker at the brothel to see who could sleep with more men in a single day. She won by a wide margin, with 25 encounters. Number 8. Historians also tell that Messalina was a cruel, vengeful, and dominant woman, even against members of her own family. Messalina had an obsession with maintaining imperial power at any cost. She eliminated any threats, competitors, or potential risks of losing power. Julia Livilla, one of Claudius' nieces, gave birth to a male child who could compete with her own descendants as an heir to the throne. Messalina, concerned about this potential threat, invented charges of incest against Julia Livilla, which led Claudius to execute his own niece. Number 9. Messalina conspired against a senator out of spite. The senator in question was her unrequited love, Junius Silanus. He always rejected any romantic relationship with her. For this reason, Messalina planned revenge and, along with Narcissus, a freedman of Claudius who was her accomplice, they managed to set a trap for the emperor. The trap consisted of making him believe that both had dreamed that Silenus would assassinate him, thus leading to the execution of the senator, who was accused of treason. This was not the only death caused by Messalina. Valerius Asiaticus, another senator, was also a victim of her fury. Messalina wanted to possess the gardens of Lucullus, the senator's property, and was also the lover of Sabina, his wife. Messalina convinced Claudius to execute the senator. Number 10. This might be one of the most scandalous facts. The empress secretly married while Claudius was away. While the emperor was in Ostia, she married her lover Gaius Silius. The exact reason for this marriage is unknown, though some Roman historians believe that Messalina intended to replace Claudius and seize power in Rome. Others think that her lover convinced her to conspire against Claudius. Another hypothesis suggests that it was simply an impulsive ceremony after several drinks, with no legitimacy. Number 11. Finally, we come to her end, Messalina's death. Upon learning of her infidelity, Claudius returned to Rome furious. It is said that the empress tried to explain herself, but she was not allowed to enter her room. Despite his anger, Claudius still loved her, so he called her to speak the next day. However, Narcissus, an old accomplice of Messalina, ordered her execution before this could happen. The soldiers found her in the gardens of Lucullus and gave her the option of suicide. Lacking the courage to cut her throat, she asked to be killed with a sword. Though Claudius did not give the direct order, he did not mourn her death. Upon receiving the news, he asked for a goblet of wine and calmly continued drinking. Undoubtedly, Messalina wished to have all of Rome in her hands, and probably in her bed, though the ways she tried to achieve her desires were not the healthiest. If you've made it this far, you've learned something new with our stories. Subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Together, we can discover and remember the truths that history often tries to hide.